first and second grade. Today we're going to be reading about making sounds. So I have our science book out in front of us and I have it on page 138, but you do not need your science book because I have it right here for you and you can look just right on the screen. Okay, so if you look here, I'm going to start reading here and it says, what kind of sound do you think this violin is making? Have you ever heard a violin? I'm sure you have, but this particular violin here is not making any sound because sounds don't just happen. They start when something makes an object move. Without an action to make an object move, there isn't any sound. Okay, like I have this rubber band right here. You can see that. And it doesn't make any sound. And I'm going to show you something with that in a minute. So, think about the violin. What kind of action starts the sound of a violin? What do you think that is? I don't know. Have you seen people play a violin? Think about what they do when the violin is playing. Also, think about a drum. There's a picture of a drum right here. Now, people play the drum a certain way. So, what kind of way does that drum make sounds, do you think? Okay. Now, think about a flute also. Now, this little girl over here, she has a flute in her hand, and you might not know what a flute looks like whenever they're playing it, but it looks similar to this little tube here that I made. This is a paper towel tube. And no, it doesn't work when you go to play it. It just is here just to show you how a flute is made. So basically, a flute is a tube, just like this. I do think that the one end over here is closed off, and this big hole here would be the hole that they blow into. And then with their other hands, well, with their hands, with their fingers, they will plug these holes and it will make different sounds. So that's how that is played. Now, how do you think the sound gets started in one of these? Now remember, you blow into it. Well, do you think that to play both the violin and the drum that you use the same action? I don't know. What about the flute and the drum? Or maybe all three? Do they all use the same action to start the sound? Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about sound. Okay? Sounds don't just happen. They start when something makes an object move. Without an action to make an object move, there isn't any sound. Like I said, the rubber band. Remember when we looked at that? Okay. Now, when a sound is made, part of the sound system moves back and forth. A back and forth movement is called a vibration. So, here we go. I got my rubber band. I'm going to see if I can show you how this vibrates. Do you hear that? You might not be able to hear it. I'll bring it closer. See if you can hear that. Okay. But it does vibrate and make a sound. And it has to move back and forth really fast like this. Okay? So watch it, okay? You hear that? Well, if I could keep my hand still for you. Oh, there we go. Those are good ones. You can see it vibrate. All right, so what part do you think vibrates when a violin is played? Now here's somebody playing the violin. What do you think vibrates to make the sound? Think about it. If you said the strings, you are right. And actually, you'll have the strings on the violin will look like this. And then that stick is called a bow. And they rub the bow that has these little fibers, like, I'm trying to think of what they look like. They also look like hairs, I think, like little strings or hairs. And there's a bunch of them all put together, okay? And what they do is they rub those against the strings of the violin, and then the violin strings vibrate and make the sound. Okay. What about the drum? What part of the drum vibrates? What do you think? If you said that white part, that white flat part right here, you are correct. That is the part that vibrates. And it's the part that makes the sound. Now you would think the sticks make the sound, but really it's the sticks hitting on that flat piece of, I'm not sure what that is made out of, but that flat piece right there is the part that makes the sound. So, see how these pencils, these are like the drumsticks. They don't make a sound by themselves, right? Do you hear anything? No, because they're not vibrating. Okay, now, but when I hit them off of the book, it's really the book that's vibrating. See the page moving? Yeah, and that is what is making the sound. So that flat part of the drum there, the top of the drum, is what vibrates. Okay, now what about the flute? What part do you think vibrates in the flute? That's a little harder because you're just blowing some air in there. And just like a real flute, it's pretty much hollow in there. Do you see anything other than, where I punched in the holes? So think about that. What part do you think vibrates? If you just said the tube of the flute, or you were thinking the tube, you are right. Very, very good. All right, so let's see what we have on this page. All right, so now this is an experiment for you. Put your hand over your throat. Do you have it there? Just set it, just wrap your hand around the front of your neck, like on your throat, and say these words. Thank you, God, for making sound. Go ahead and say it again. Thank you, God, for making sound. Do you feel your throat vibrating? Yeah, see? Even our throats have to vibrate to make sound. So one way that God likes us to use sound is to praise and thank Him with our voices. Yeah. So basically, anytime a sound is made, something is vibrating. Pretty neat, huh? All right, well, that is today's lesson. So I hope that you enjoyed it. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.